Welcome to Marketing Rockers, your podcast about video game marketing, with your hosts David and Linus.
Yeah, we should be live. We're recording on Audacity.
We should be fine.
We switched our system, right? We were using... Wait, it starts with a C, but I can't remember the name.
I also already forgot.
Oh my god. It's not
Cloud
Coinbase. Cloud,
No.
Cubase.
Yeah, what was it called?
Clean feed.
Clean feed. Yeah,
Clean
true.
feed.
Yeah, it caused some issues with our recording that the quality was very inconsistent, and I think it's due to our internet, or maybe due to this service of them. Not sure, but sometimes our T's and S's, and actually for both of us, were kind of off.
That's weird.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened. Anyway,
Well,
now we should sound amazing.
Exactly. So right now, each one is recording on its own device, and Audacity. So yeah, going free to play on this one. I could record it on Cubase, but whatever. We just have to record our own voices, right?
Exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah, I hope we sound better.
Yeah.
How have the last 2 weeks been for you? I think it was 2 weeks, right? 3 weeks? Close to 3.
3 weeks. It's been a while. Yeah. A little bit rough on the personal side. You already know. But crazy weeks on the stock market, right? We're recording this.
Exciting.
Beginning of February, so we had the whole GameStop, AMC short squeeze. Everyone was trying to get an account on Robinhood. Then Robinhood blocked the purchase of these
Betrayed us all.
stocks. Yeah.
They should rename themselves.
Man, Elon
God, I don't know
Musk.
which character.
Elon Musk joined the crusade. Did you say Mark Cuban before?
Yeah, Mark Cuban today said, diamond hands, hold on to it, don't get soft.
Exactly. I think AOC, Ted Cruz also talked about it.
All of them.
Yeah, everyone is in it.
And then also beginning of this week, so today is the 2nd of February, all the media started talking about the Wall Street bets hitting silver stocks or hitting cryptos. So this whole thing got diluted, kind of defeating a little bit the movement for a time. So even the media kind of started manipulating a bit this thing. But yeah, let's see where this goes in the coming days. I am on that Discord. I'm actually on that Discord right now. I still see a lot of diamond hands, so I'm hopeful that this movement will continue. It's for a good cause, in my opinion.
We also have the Dogecoin thing with Elon in the middle of everything.
Also the Bitcoin thing, where he just changed his description.
Yeah, exactly.
20% off.
By the way, is there...
Ridiculous.
Does Dogecoin have any purpose? So
I'm not even sure if Dogecoin is a proper ledger-based cryptocurrency.
You gotta be kidding me.
I'm not sure if it is, because there are a lot of altcoins that are not exactly what we would consider a cryptocurrency. This might be one of them.
So
this will never be used again.
So it's just a meme coin, we could say.
I mean, it's called Dogecoin.
I know, yeah.
As a symbol.
Exactly. It has
It's defined by it. Yeah.
Is it Doge or Doge? Or I heard someone calling it Doge on YouTube, but I was
think
not
it's
sure.
Doge.
I think
it's Dogecoin. Like, isn't it like a dumb dog is a Doge or something like this? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Yeah, but it will be funny to listen to this episode in a couple of weeks or a couple of months and think, yeah, that was that crazy week when everyone was buying stock and holding on to it and declaring war to hedge funds and whatever. Yeah, you almost felt part of a movement against the hedge funds, right? It was kind of crazy that we were almost excited about the markets opening and see what was going to happen. Is it going up? Is it going down? Are people holding? Are people selling? What is on the news about this? Even our stand-ups in the company were about this. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, everyone was feeling it.
That was pretty awesome. Let's see how it ends. There will be already a movie or a documentation is already confirmed.
Netflix, right? I also read it.
So it will already come.
Yeah, they already have a cast. They already casted a dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't remember the name. I saw it on Twitter this morning. But yeah, Netflix already wants to start planning it. So in a couple of years, we'll have a movie about it or a series or I don't know. Something.
Interesting.
It's pretty, yeah. I mean,
fast.
We talked about it, right? That we were in the middle of it and we were thinking, yeah, we're getting a movie about this for sure.
Definitely.
Who directed The Big Short? Was it Aaron Sorkin?
Might be. Don't know it from the top of my mind.
Maybe.
That guy should do it, you mean?
Yeah. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that would be a good fit.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, Netflix obviously has the money to do it. He did Molly's Game. Oh, the Trial of the Chicago 7, Social Network. I think he didn't do The Big Short. That's another dude.
Yeah, the Big Short. That's the same guy who did the Iraq movie. God, why am I so bad with names today?
Adam McKay.
Yeah.
Adam McKay.
And the other movie is called. Oh, I'm so bad. What's the other movie called? We watched it in the cinema. You remember?
No, I do not remember. I mean,
or am I also confusing him now? Vice, obviously. Iraq.
Okay, now, yeah.
Yeah, I think that style of movie, those movies are very similar, even though the topics are very different. I think that guy would be perfect for this kind of stuff. Yeah, would be awesome if he could get.
Let's see. Let's see if we get one from either Adam McKay or Aaron Sorkin. That could be. Those would be good choices for this story. Anyhow, I have a question. I have the podcast question for you, which is, once all of this is over, and by all of this I mean travel restrictions, COVID, whatever. If you had to do a trip, if you had to travel somewhere, what would be your first choice? So what pops into your head when I say, hey, you have to choose a place to go on vacation or travel or visit or whatever?
All right. Generally, I'm a guy that likes to be at home to relax.
Living room doesn't count. You have to leave your place.
Switching room doesn't count. Okay.
No.
Okay. I mean, ever since I was a child, I was a huge fan of Kevin Allein zu Haus, or Home Alone, as the Americans call it, but very related to Kevin in my case, in the German case. I always was a bigger fan of the second movie, actually. I think that's pretty untypical. I think a lot of people actually don't like the second movie, which I never knew as a child, obviously. But apparently you don't like the second one. You like the first one, or those two.
You're allowed to like the second one.
Thank you. Because this feeling of of New York in Christmas time with all the lights and the snow and the smoke coming out of the street, essentially, the big tree at the Rockefeller Center, Central Park. This really stuck to my mind, and it's like the super romantic version of Christmas time for me. But also being alone there at the same time is also this kind of romantic feeling of myself being alone in New York at that time, just, spending my time there, living my life there for a moment. Has always been a huge fantasy for me. I've never been to the US so far. I wanted to go to New York, actually in January.
You had tickets. You had tickets.
Yeah. I had a coupon that I had to use, and I used it so far in the future as I could, and it was not enough, unfortunately. But for sure, I got another coupon, obviously, and for next January or maybe December even. Let's see how it goes. I think I will try to do that trip again. It's a bit of a childhood thing. I hope I will not be disappointed. I'm very excited to do it. Also to do it alone, for whatever reason. But that will be the one.
I think you're gonna love it. Yeah. New York is something else. It's something else. I'm not saying it's the most beautiful city in the world, because it's probably not.
It's about personality.
Yeah,
right?
it's about personality. It is insane, and you almost feel like you've been there before, which is weird.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Big movie guy, of course.
Exactly.
Seen so many corners of that city, and being there myself will be also a special feeling, I think.
You're gonna love it.
I'm looking forward to it. What would be your place? You've been to a lot of places.
I've been to a lot of places. I mean, yeah, I can say I haven't been to a lot of places. But I have two in my mind. One is a childhood one. Something I wanted to do with my grandmother, which is Australia, Sydney. Well,
Cool.
Sydney, but Australia. That's something of a childhood dream, and something that I used to talk to my grandma about. But the other one is Japan.
Yeah, that's also a big one. For
Exactly. So completely different culture, awesome food, delicious food. I'm a huge sushi fan and ramen fan, so I want to taste the real thing. But yeah, I have a small problem with Japan. I know that the most beautiful moment to be there is during spring, and I have a terrible allergy problem. So spring would be beautiful and at the same time a nightmare to me. But yeah, maybe I have to.
I mean, now it's a common thing to wear a mask, so you can just.
Yeah, I know, but it affects. yeah, I guess. But it affects my eyes and my. Yeah, the problem is the eyes. Anyhow, yeah, Japan and Australia for completely different reasons. Nothing that we can do anytime soon. I'm guessing, I don't know how likely it is that the borders opened with the US. But Japan and Australia will certainly take a little bit more time, I would assume. But yeah, those are my two destinations that I have to go. Well, yeah, I have to go. Yeah, at some point I will have to go.
Another childhood travel that was always very important to me. I actually got to do shortly before the pandemic started, and I was going to China.
Oh, yes.
And that was really incredible. Like, as a child, my mother was always fascinated by the terracotta warriors.
Okay.
And for me, it was always this thing. It was almost magical, this whole place with all these warriors that they found in the ground. But then also the Great Wall. I mean, you see it in movies, you see it also in cartoons and whatnot. And just being on this wall and really feeling how big it really is and that it actually really exists, that was also quite incredible, I have to say.
It's gotta be fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy that we got to do that before the whole thing went down.
You did it in June. No, not last year, because we're recording this in 2021, but 2019. Yeah, you even brought us some sweets there. That was nice.
Sweets and salty.
Sweets and salty stuff. Yeah, some snacks was what I wanted to say.
Meat wrapped in little plastic as a snack. Very weird, but awesome.
Yeah, I got to go to Vietnam before everything, which is also very recommended and very cheap. Very cheap. Also food delicious. I know I talk a lot about food, but yeah, it's so delicious. It's so cheap. It was amazing and beautiful. It is still, I guess, an opportunity to see something that is not as the word is not touched, but messed up by humanity. So you can see a lot of nature without all the humanity's influence, and that you can see that less and less. So it was nice to experience something like this as well. So
Vietnam would be also.
So we have recommendations, right? We have China as a
Mhm.
recommendation, Vietnam as a recommendation, and dreams, New York, Sydney, and Japan. Nice. We have some plans to do. We have some plans to.
Hopefully, it opens up soon.
Exactly. I mean, we have to spend the vacation somewhere, right? We're now spending our vacations on our couches, which is fine. Which is fine, right? You still have to take 1 week's vacation, right?
I still have a full week until March, and I guess I will just take it eventually.
And play Hades.
Hades is awesome. I guess we should talk about that next time.
Yeah. Once I beat the final boss. But
I did start playing it, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I mentioned it.
Okay. We can.
It's pretty awesome.
We can talk about it in the next episode once you.
I would say
a little bit further. We have a very interesting topic today, right? Today's topic is controversial marketing. We will discuss a little bit what controversial marketing is for us. I actually have a question for you regarding that. Mm-hmm. Then some pros and some cons about controversial marketing. And finally, a checklist, something that you have to check every time you want to go a little bit riskier, let's say, right? Everything you have to check before you go live with this type of marketing, right? We will explain some of the cons, and you have to really check if you want to do this. And if you want to do this, you have to check all of this stuff. So, controversial marketing, what is it? I have a question, which is, do you agree with the saying, there is no such thing as bad publicity? Because it kind of goes into that way, right?
Well, I do lean to say I do agree, but I also think it's not true at the same time. Simply because, I do think it's always good marketing in a way that you will definitely drive a lot of attention. But of course, the downside of it is if you get a lot of attention, it might also be permanent damage to who you are in the end.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same boat. I think it can be incredibly valuable, but you can take it too far. There is a thing as taking it too far, and it will make more damage than the uplift that you're looking, right? So, as controversial marketing, we're obviously, not obviously, but we're referring to using marketing content that it's maybe not politically correct, right? And that might offend some individuals. But what you are looking for is for this reaction that generates a lot of discussion, a lot of awareness. And I actually brought some examples to show this. Maybe not on not on a small scale. I mean, I'm going big scale with big brands. Maybe we have some that, maybe we have an overlap of the brands. My first example would be, how would you call it this? Nike? It depends on where you are.
Nike. I think Nike is the official one.
Okay.
That's what our basketball friend says.
All right.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. So MJ.
He counts.
MJ, yeah. If MJ says Nike, it's Nike. And do you have this one on your list?
No.
Okay. So I have the Nike's campaign "Believe in Something," which featured the ex-NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who protested against racism in the US by kneeling during the national anthem during games. All right? So he kneeled during the national anthem during the season, during the national anthem, before the start of the game. And after that season, he was never hired again. So he was a quarterback. He was very well rated, and he was never hired again. So Nike, a couple of years later, ran a campaign with him. And it was a strategy that risked alienating a lot of consumers because, I mean, it was someone that kneeled during the national anthem. And for some people in the US, that is sacred and that's very offensive, right, against the whole country. It was a strategy that risked alienating countless consumers, but sales skyrocketed after that by 31%, and stock price, if I'm not mistaken, had a little dip and then rose to a all-time high. And this was mainly because it was very well received by millennials and Generation Z, because these guys, us, we have to say, right, is our generation, values a lot of this kind of behavior by brands. I think this was an awesome campaign. I remember. I actually really loved it. And as you can see, it alienated. I remember. I mean, people burning Nike shoes, throwing them away on social media. But a lot of people that supported Nike, and they came out on top after that campaign.
That's a very good example. The kind of also kind of identity building almost, right?
Yeah.
Such a campaign that you're connecting yourself to such a cause or such injustice, I would say, in his case, especially.
Exactly.
In that way. Yeah, I have some smaller campaigns on the marketing side, and a bigger one on from Hamburg, actually, very locally, but it's one that I really, really like. But I think the Hamburg one, maybe it should come up a bit later, so I didn't want to mention it. But just from the smaller ones on the gaming side, I can already say in advance it was very successful, but also very badly received, actually. And that is a PS Vita ad. PS Vita, it's a small handheld console, a console that I personally really, really like, actually. It's a perfect little handheld. I wish the Switch was that small. I would like it much, much more if it was a bit smaller like this. But of course it is.
I mean, the Lite is a little bit smaller, so maybe you would enjoy that one.
But the Lite, I saw very bad reviews about performance recently.
I don't know.
So not so keen about it, I think, anymore. Anyway, the PS Vita, famously, you could touch it on front, the display, and on the back, there was also touchscreen.
Yes.
So you could touch the console on both sides and can control it pretty much with everything you can use from your hand at any given moment. And now I want to ask you the question. And the ad featured a woman. What do you think was special about that woman? You get 5 seconds.
What was special about the woman holding the Vita?
No, she wasn't holding the Vita. Something was different about that woman. And that related back to the PS Vita.
I have no idea.
She had breasts on both sides. That was the ad for the PS Vita.
What?
Of course, outrageous. I know, for us, it's unbelievable that they did this, right?
Yeah.
But apparently it was very successful for Sony, and they were maybe not happy that they did it.
You gotta be kidding me.
But yeah, you can Google it. It's real. And it's... I was also very surprised when I found it. It is very US focused, I believe. It was not running here. But certainly interesting.
That is insane. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, I think this kind of stuff would not fly of nowadays Sony.
Yeah,
anymore.
I mean, Vita was, what, 2013?
11, 12, I think. 11, 12.
I bought mine in 2013 or 14. Yeah, so maybe it was before, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a shame that it flopped. Well, it didn't flop in Japan, I think.
No, it was okay.
Yeah, but after that ad, I'm kind of almost wishing that it did, right? Come on.
I don't know what they were thinking. I guess it's kind of... I assume it happened. They had a company that they... they gave them the mission to advertise the Vita in the US. And there was a very disconnected relationship between Sony and them. And I think that's the only way this could have ever happened. But yeah. Nowadays, no one thinks of this anymore when they think Sony, so they got out of it just fine in the end.
Yeah, but really taking it to the limit, right? Really going after the non-politically correct stuff. Damn, from Sony. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty surprising. I have another one from a big brand. Actually, not intended as a controversial marketing thing, but it ended up being like that. It is Starbucks. So,
oh, no, what did they do?
Do you remember the red cup? The
No.
red cup craziness. Okay, so this was the anti-Christmas red cup. All right, so it was a red cup, a minimalistic red cup that was released for the 2015 holiday season. Right, instead of the normal green cups, they had a red cup, and we don't know if it was intentional or not. Right, we will never know. They say it wasn't, but even if it was not intentional, it was accused of removing Christian imagery from the holiday cups, right? So if you had a special cup for Christmas, you would have some Christian imagery or whatever, but this was just minimalistic, and it was accused of being anti-Christmas. So people were outraged because Christmas was canceling and whatever, right? 2015 US. It all worked out for Starbucks, actually, because everyone was talking about the freaking red cup, and there was a red cup featured on Instagram every 14 seconds. So everyone was trying to see what was special about this cup. And it was a simple red coffee cup, which was accused of canceling Christmas, but yeah, it was just that it was a red cup. It became It became controversial on its own, and yeah, it worked because it became controversial. Otherwise, it would have been just a simple red cup instead of a green one like Starbucks usual cup.
Damn.
Yeah.
You how many people also go to Starbucks in the US, and this can happen.
Yeah, everyone.
I don't even know what is on the Starbucks cup.
The lady. Yeah,
green, it's just the symbol,
green,
right?
and yeah, exactly. I know. Damn. It's crazy, right? But it happened. And imagine having your brand on a post every 14 seconds on one of the biggest social media platforms in the world. No? I mean, I guess everyone knew about Starbucks already at that point in 2015, sorry. But still, everyone was reminded that there's this special cup, which is red.
Good job. If intentional or not, very good job.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty awesome.
You had a Hamburg example. I'm excited to.
I wanted to bring it up later because I do think it kind of goes nice with the benefits of it. But if this is the moment, I can also talk about it.
If you have another one, you can do the other one. I have one more, and then you can do or later.
Okay, yeah. I have a very, 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 very small one.
Let's go.
And that's a Wolfenstein campaign. How the Germans say it.
What don't you mean
Wolfenstein?
You don't mean Wolfenstein?
Wolfenstein. Yeah. And they had a very lovely campaign. Of course, it plays a lot with the humor, with the strong humor that game has, but only people that actually played the game, of course, understand the humor. Maybe it was a punch a Nazi campaign. Of course, they were thinking, we have this ironic alternate history World War II game, and we punch Nazis, no one likes Nazis, we shoot them all the time, it's okay. But of course, if you put punch a Nazi on a poster, and the US does have its fair share of Nazi related people, sometimes very openly indeed, this is obviously then inciting violence in a mild way. Even though some might say this is a good cause.
Come on.
In a way, it goes kind of in the wrong direction. As far as I know, that was pulled very, very, very quickly. But yeah, that was one. Also stirred quite some noise. And as we know, the game was quite successful in the end. So maybe it played out in their favor.
Maybe it played in their favor. If everyone started talking about the punch a Nazi thing, it's good publicity, right?
Yeah, but bad received. I guess for a good reason.
No. All right. I have a very, well, not small, but I think it was an interesting example. By the way, I extracted these, or at least I informed a little bit myself about it on entrepreneur.com and on Forbes. just to reference those sources. But the last one is, and you might know about this one, I have as a controversial marketing example, the Donald Trump presidential campaign. I think it's the biggest. I just have it as it's probably the biggest controversial marketing campaign ever run, and surprise, surprise, it was successful. 2016. It was not successful in 2020, but it was successful in 2016.
And almost successful in 2020.
Exactly. So
too close.
Too close, right? And it kind of makes you think how far can you go? He went too far. You could say he went too far, right? But he won once and he got close to the second one. So
also, it's almost hard to characterize the controversialness of it, right? Because there's so many different aspects of what is wrong about it.
It's everything. He embraced it. It's everything.
I mean, what was the one thing he say? Mexicans are all rapists or something like this?
Yeah.
Or something like this. And of course,
about the convoys.
That gets printed everywhere and it reaches enough people ultimately that do want to join the cause, right?
Yeah.
He really steered the media with this kind of stuff. There was never... Wait, who was the... Hillary. Hillary was the other one.
Yeah, Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe, whatever. He has an insult for everyone. This wouldn't roll.
But that's exactly the thing, right? The Crooked Hillary thing. Imagine the first page of the newspaper. Hillary never makes it on there, but it's him saying Crooked Hillary, which makes it on there, on the first page. So she never got her moment to place anything. He really dominated that thing.
Exactly.
Not in a good way, of course, but
I mean,
crazy.
We can say he took it too far because he got banned for all the platforms, right? So he lost the reach that he had, actually. So you could say that is, as we mentioned before, there is such thing as a bad publicity because you can take it too far. He took it too far, and now he's banned from every single social media platform. So we're kind of justifying our opinion back there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Do you want to mention the Hamburg one, or do you want to leave it for later?
Let's leave it for later.
Let's leave it for later. So let's go with the pros then. We already talked a little bit about it. Pros of controversial marketing. Do you want to go first, or should I mention one?
I mean, I guess we touched upon a lot of these points already,
Yep.
At least the ones that I have on my sheet. But the biggest one, of course, or at least in my opinion, is the attention grabber or the attention grabbiness of it. Not just, usually you make your marketing campaign to speak to someone very specifically that you want to talk to, and those people are usually the people that also will respond to whatever you put out there. But with a controversial ad, which usually has multiple aspects, maybe of its message, two angles to look at it, you get the opportunity to talk not just to the people that you actually want to talk to, which I called sympathizers. Of course, we should be very careful with whatever controversial we're doing, and then who are the sympathizers here. But you also, in a way, talk to the offended, the people that are maybe either don't get what you did there, depending on how you organized your ad, or are just very opposed to your message. So you also reach out to them and probably are able to drive some engagement out of it, which will be important to, for example, social media marketing especially. And you even get the supporters. I call them the supporters because those are the people that just get what you did, that you just try to get attention. And they will, at least in an often case, in the experience that we made, will even come in and defend your style of marketing against the offended, against the hate that you get, for example. So I think it's very nice that you get the opportunity to drive engagement on people that you might miss otherwise. Even though they might not convert to actually be playing your game, you still get the advantage of having them engage with your ad. And I think that's a very good or very strong benefit of it.
I actually have exactly the same topics, the same points. I would add that those people that support you, and we've seen that from experience, right? These people can be extremely valuable, right? So they will support you, and hopefully, well, if that is the quality of your campaign, they will. I mean, we're talking obviously on a video game point of view in this case, because we talk from experience. But these people that support you, when they then register in the game, my God, they almost feel like it's their duty to support your game, right? Because they defend a certain. They defended not your position, but your marketing or your approach to the marketing, and then they almost feel like they have to help you because you were not politically correct. So this very super engaged audience can also be very, very valuable. And also I would add that this campaign, I mean, it gets a lot of engagement, but it also gets amazing reach, right? It's not only the people that engage with it, but also the people that notice you and are aware of you because someone complained or praised you, right? So people will share it because they are either outraged or proud, right? Because of the supporters. And if people are outraged, articles will be written, articles will be published, these articles will be shared. So it's kind of a snowball that generates, and it'll reach more and more and more people. So it can have this amazing reach just because people are either very happy or, well, not very happy, but very, very annoyed about it. So yeah, I mean, some very exciting pros about it, right? Let's do it already. Well, there are some cons, right? There are some cons. There are some cons to it.
Still have some.
You have more pros? Let's throw some pros on it, right? Come on. What pros? What more pros?
You brought one up already. The amazing Nike campaign. I also read about the Nike campaign a longer time ago, I think. But creating an identity for yourself. Nice. So yeah. I think that's very important, and I don't think many of us actually get an opportunity to do this. For example, we now in our case we all advertise games. I do think that in our specific case we do have kind of unique games, so we are a little bit in an advantage over other gaming advertisers in that way. But we also know that a lot of gaming advertisers are working on, a plethora of Game of War copies, or a plethora of Match 3 copies. So how do you actually stand out in all of this? Everyone understands it's a similar game again. So what can you really do? And I think controversial marketing can actually be an interesting way of kind of carving your own identity and also a brand around who you actually are. For example, and that is actually the Hamburg example, we have a very famous cola. Coke. I cannot say Coke. It's cola. In Hamburg, it's called Fritz Cola. I know it's in Europe around. In Germany, it's everywhere. In other European countries, I guess it's only in bars. I guess across the pond in the US, I have no idea. It might also be in bars. I don't expect it in the supermarket there.
Fun fact. I had it for the first time in Prague, not even in Germany.
Prague.
Yeah.
Prague, of course, has a very German.
Exactly. It's right next to Germany, but still, I think it was funny.
Yeah.
Then I found it in Hamburg again, and it was actually for Hamburg. Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And they have they have very political messaging, especially in Hamburg. So I should say in Hamburg, it's traditionally a very, I don't want to say left-leaning environment in Hamburg. So usually the Social Democratic Party is the leader in the government, together with the Green Party, and then there are actually areas in Hamburg which the left-wing party called Die Linke, the left, is actually the dominant party. I, for example, live in such an area where this is the case, kind of a progressive, very alternative area. And Fritz Kohler obviously knows this. I'm not sure if they actually think in this way. So they have a lot of political messaging. And they do it in a very big way. Big posters across houses, essentially. And one big poster of these is always next to the main station of Hamburg. And while Trump was in office, they had a poster there with Trump and a bottle of Fritz Cola. Now, I should say, if someone is stupid or incapable, we tend to call them a Flasche, a bottle. So the headline of this poster was, one of these bottles is good for the environment. Which was amazing. This parallelity between one bottle and the other, between Trump and Fritz Cola. It was great. It's not just the green message of it. It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh my god. It makes me want to buy more Fritz Cola.
I support them all the way.
Exactly. I mean, it's also a local. Well, it's not a local business anymore, but it started there, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it.
So I think they perfectly understand this whole thing. Of course, you walking past it, you might think you shouldn't be doing this on an ad, kind of this political message. But on the other hand, everyone, or a lot of people in Hamburg, at least deep down, think, yeah, absolutely right.
I mean,
what they're saying here.
If the city is like you described, right, a little bit left leaning, it makes total sense. You will have the support of the city.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's only Hamburg. I assume in Berlin it might be similar. I'm wondering if they do that anywhere else. Maybe it's a whole agenda of Fritz Cola, or maybe it's a very local agenda of Fritz Cola. But I don't know that.
I mean, big cities overall tend to lean left. That is a fact. They might have, I don't know, but since they are from Hamburg and we know the reality of Hamburg, that makes 100% sense.
Yeah, I love it. And to bring it back, what I wanted to say, creating an identity. Of course, Fritz Cola, when they started out, their USP was we have more caffeine.
Yeah, I know. You told me about it. Yeah.
Caffeine. It's also still true.
Caffeine.
Yeah. It's still true, but they pretty much removed it from the messaging. And to stand out in the sea of Coca-Cola and other Cokes, this is their way of doing it. So they are very political, very green, and this is one of the strong aspects why we should say, pay a premium to drink Fritz Cola instead of Coca-Cola. I personally like,
but it works because at least on my personal experience, you can find Fritz Cola in every supermarket, and most restaurants also have it. So
then there's a lot of the cult establishments like small cinemas, small bars.
Yeah,
they often only have Fritz Cola. They don't even have Coca-Cola anymore.
Supporting small businesses, supporting
a lot of support.
The local economy. Nice.
So at least they they carry this value, on their ads, their company values on their ads. At least it seems that way in Hamburg. That's the message or the feeling that they give us.
Damn. Amazing point. I don't even want to go to the cons. It almost makes me want to do more controversial marketing.
I do actually want to bring one more thing up, and it kind of goes into the engagement area.
Yep.
And this will be controversial. This statement that I will now do is controversial in itself, and many people will definitely argue against this. So controversial marketing, I think we can say, is something that we do tend to use, and also not rarely, but frequently, I would say. You would agree?
Yeah, I would agree. That is not controversial, that we are controversial.
Now, this is what I now want to do as a comment about our work and how I think what I think we are doing. I do think we are, for social media platforms, actually deliver content to the target audience. Would you agree?
In some way we deliver entertainment. You would say like this, right?
So one thing that I wanted to bring up, you already edged on another case that we had, but one case that I was personally very involved with was a a campaign for our World War I game, and it had a polarizing question on it.
Yeah, I remember.
It had the question on it.
I remember.
Why did Poland start World War I? Obviously, there's a lot of things wrong with this question. First up, Poland didn't exist during World War I, and of course, they did not start World War I in any way. Now, most people obviously got the obvious irony that this is just stupid and attention grabbing. But at the same time, we also got a lot of hate. This is one of the ads that actually did get reposted in other places, even in business cases as well. But what it also does is drive the conversation to, or very quickly drive the conversation to, would this be possible? And we often catch a lot of people discussing the political environment from back in the time. Could this somehow have happened? Could there have been an uprising in the Poland area? Could they have been its own country and then take revenge on the other countries? Something like this. So actually, with this kind of marketing, this showing up in people's feeds, we actually give them an opportunity to discuss something that they were not before thinking of. And I do think, generally, the engagement that we drive with this is usually higher than on proper content. Proper content, I mean not advertised content, on the platform itself. Which shouldn't be the case, I think, for a proper social media platform. But unfortunately on Facebook, that is the case.
If you put it like this, I would agree then. I agree that our ads but actively generate sometimes historical and political discussions and, valuable discussions, because they sometimes discuss potential or possible scenarios that could have happened in history, and they are seriously discussing it. It's not raging or hating or whatever. They're actively discussing historical scenarios and alternative historical scenarios that might have happened. And I gotta assume they are enjoying these conversations, and we are delivering content and entertainment to them. We delivered these discussions that already are happening, right? Because someone started them at some point in the ad, and they enjoyed joining these discussions and sharing their point of view. Also, very good point. Yeah, I like it.
No, I don't want to position it as we're doing good for the world or anything.
No, not necessarily. I mean, no, but we work in the video game industry, which is an entertainment industry. And this is part of entertainment, right? There are people that like to play video games, and there are people that like to discuss alternative or possible historical scenarios, right? People that are passionate about these things and that don't necessarily play our games, right? Because they can have the discussion on the ad and never download the game. That can happen, and I'm assuming it happens.
Oh, for sure.
But they still enjoy themselves discussing these topics with complete strangers. So yeah, I think it's a very valid point. I think it's an awesome point. Very cool.
We deliver
very
entertainment all around.
Exactly.
Okay, but now we can talk about the
and
negatives.
then we discuss it on this podcast when we deliver more entertainment.
Perfect.
That's awesome. It's not all happiness, right? Flowers and whatever. There are some cons to it, right? We discussed already what happened to Donald Trump for taking it too far, right? So what happens when you do it, or when you take it too far, right? I can start this time. I have the most obvious one that we already discussed, which is your reputation might take a hit. I mean, it is likely that for some people, your reputation will take a hit, right? You're talking about stuff that it's not politically correct, so it will not be praised unanimously. So this could lead to you losing current, we're talking here about video games, so players, but in other context, customers, right? People might not be happy with your statement or your content and might say, I don't want to support this kind of content or message, so I will stop buying or I will stop paying because I do not agree with this and I'm offended, right? This is one of the biggest and the most obvious con. I have a more specific one regarding social media ad platforms, which is bans. So if you take it too far and you go way too controversial, right? Platforms like Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever, might not find that as, even if you generate a lot of engagement, right? They might not find it super funny like you do, right? That joke that you wanted to do and offends half of the planet, maybe they are not pleased with it. And they can the bans, they can get your ad blocked, but even worse, they can have your account blocked. And that is a pain in the ass to come back from, right? We had a company, we had someone in our group that got blocked, not necessarily by running controversial marketing, but
no, not at all, actually.
Not at all. But getting that account back, oh my God, they didn't know what to do, right?
And some of these accounts are really business critical. If you get banned from Facebook,
yeah,
it could be it.
So yeah, think twice before you go and make that joke on Facebook, because Facebook might not like it, or, well, Facebook users might not like it, might report the ad, and Facebook might say, hey, you violated our advertising policies, so your account is gone. And with that, it goes 70 or 80% of your marketing budget.
Yeah, to categorize... on Facebook, this is actually very easy. For example, something that I guess in the rest of the world, but the US, is unthinkable. Using, for example, global warming inside of your ads is extremely political. We're banned heavily. I mean, we haven't tried it recently, but that was one of the ads that was impossible to get through, which is interesting. I guess on Twitter, you have a little bit more experience with it. Everything slightly political is probably off the mark.
I mean, when we got actually we already only got blocked once on one ad, and it was very, very, very controversial, right? You can say, yeah, exactly.
Yep, that went too far.
The one that we went too far, we can say we have experience with going too far. Yeah, and it came back to us, and our ad was blocked. But it was only the ad. We were lucky enough that if we removed or we paused that ad, actually the account was blocked because that ad was running, and if we stopped the ad, everything would come back. So that was it. You probably can get a little bit more political than on Facebook, but yeah, that's about it. And on platforms like Snapchat and TikTok, they are very serious about it. So you cannot get political at all.
The case that we just talked about, that was also a very nice case of where the supporters really came through for us, right?
Indeed. And that's where we saw that these supporters are the most valuable users you can get.
It was very nice to see, because there were actually newspapers picking this up and journalists reaching out after that particular ad. But on every news article, there were people just saying, how can you be outraged by this?
Exactly.
People were defending us.
And people actually saying, and that's where my point comes from before, people saying, now I feel the duty to play this game and support it. I'm like, okay, exactly. All right. Thank you for the support. But yeah, that's what can happen.
Before we move on, I realized working on this episode that the term snowflake completely vanished, didn't it? Have you heard snowflake since then? Because that came up a lot when this happened back in the day, but it kind of died.
It kind of died, right? Yeah.
There's no snowflakes anymore.
No.
Everyone is agitated.
Exactly. Now
it's the normal.
There's a lot of cancel culture. Canceling is very, very.
But I think also that went lower. Cancel culture. I mean, it happened in the beginning of the year. I think Alex Jones and stuff. But that was even before.
I guess. I guess with Trump out of the picture and with COVID, I guess something. COVID came before, obviously, and that took something with it. And
maybe then people had some time to be a little bit introspective, think about their life, and don't get angry immediately.
I don't know. I think people.
That's my hope.
People being at home without anything to do just made everything worse because they can just write anything on Twitter. They have more time to check Twitter and get into deeper and deeper forums and I don't know and accounts.
Man, but I feel like this rage culture is a bit less at the moment. Maybe it's just a feeling. Yeah. Maybe I'm out of the bubble.
You're out of the bubble, maybe. Yeah, that could be.
Could be.
Let's see. I have one more con on my side, which is it can lead to more work. So you plan all this controversial campaign, right? But then it leads to so much work to try to do damage control, then it's almost not worth it. It could happen, right? That the campaign goes well, but not as well as you expected, and then you have to you have fires everywhere that you have to take out, and it's almost like you could think, oh man, I wish I didn't do this before because now I have more work fixing this situation. Dealing with the aftermath of the campaign, because there will be some, right, and it has to be worth it.
And imagine you're not prepared, and then you have to do the walk to your leadership and say, "Oh my God, I put this out there, and this came back. What do we do?" That would be a terrible situation. Yeah. I have one small con. Yep. And it goes. It's kind of the opposite of another point I had before. The point was that you can reach not just your target audience, but you can also make other people engage on your ad. At the same time, you also run the risk of, taking that possibility away. That you really
offending
those
users. Yeah, that's
burning users by offending them in a certain way and turning them away ultimately from your product, even though your target audience might actually like it, but you just hit the message a bit wrong.
Excellent point. Yeah. I'm 100%. I 100% agree with that. Yeah. I think we are through with cons.
Mm-hmm.
So we could go into the conclusions, which is a checklist. You already mentioned, right? One of them, but stuff that you want to have prepared or stuff that you have to check before you go through with this controversial marketing. I think it's a good conclusion to the topic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'll go with the first one because you already mentioned. First is to have a plan and discuss it with your management and get their approval. Don't do it before you get the approval from management because, it could go very well, but it could go sideways very, very fast. And it will be hard to explain to your management why you went the controversial route and now why half the planet hates you.
It's also very nice. It shows you very nicely, I think, how the world has changed. Because if you looked at the Nike campaign, for example, that you mentioned, there is so much work behind this thing and putting that out there. But nowadays, just one guy can sit there with an idea and just make it happen and let a whole company go sideways.
Exactly.
That's the kind of power how it changed since then.
Yeah. So it is I don't want to say a reality, but a possibility that one person just ruins the company with a bad tweet.
Yeah,
it could happen.
That's why many people have my opinions and none else on Twitter, I guess.
Exactly, and retweets are not do not support points of views and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think this issue, check it with your superiors, because this issue can also go, not just the company can be damaged, but you can also lose your user base. But you can also, for example, if you have a publicly owned company, even investors might think, this is not sustainable. Sustainable is a big trend, not just on a environment level, but also on a value level. And if you then come with certain messages, you might even use your shareholder base in the end. So this can really hit everything if it goes sideways.
All right. Yeah, I guess that is the biggest one. I also have a contingency plan. So obviously things can go south. I mean, if there's a campaign that can go south, is this type of campaign controversial? So have a contingency plan if something goes wrong. So statement, what to do actually if you wanna do a statement already, have that statement prepared. If you don't want to do anything and wait for everything to calm down, also is fine. But have that plan beforehand, just in case something goes south.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. One other thing you should definitely do is check your target audience. Know who you're advertising to, and make sure that whatever political message or irony you're aiming at doesn't offend who you need in the game, but rather encourages to come into, because that is a danger.
Related to that, I have a question. I don't know if you agree with this one. I have don't pick a side unless you are absolutely sure. Because you could end up alienating a big percentage of your target audience. So I have don't pick a side. If you can be neutral or something similar, or I don't know if you agree with it.
No, I agree, and I think that's also for the conclusion for all of this actually quite important. That however controversial you want to go, it should always be clear that there's something else behind it. That you're not saying this is like this, and people take it as this. It should always be clear that, for example, we had the example of why did Poland start World War I? Was my example. Of course, on one side it was always clear this is not historically accurate, and on the other side it's always clear we're advertising a game where potentially this scenario is possible. So we never got into the situation where we actually have to go out there and say, no, we don't advertise that Poland started World War I.
Exactly.
Because there is, at least for most people, an understanding that this is an ad and has a different goal than this, even though some people go out there and might tell you otherwise. So you never get into the situation where you actually have to make a statement. I think that's very important when you do this kind of stuff, that it doesn't force you to go out there and clarify, because that will really make things worse, most likely.
Exactly. It's not about making a statement. It's about having some connection to your product or game in the background. Yeah, that's a good point. I have a final one, which is inform everyone when it's going live, so everyone can know when the shitstorm is about to happen, if it happens. So yeah, just going back to the communication with management, the plan, just inform everyone so they are aware that this might happen at this time, at this day, so everyone is prepared to deal with the aftermath if things go either very well or very badly. Right. I know it's a simple one, but I thought it was worth
also, when telling everyone, don't forget also to tell your account managers potentially. So whatever backlash may come, it's kind of like an insurance. You made them green light it, right? So it's not just your fault. But this also, when it comes to damage reduction, can be very helpful if they knew in advance, and then how to deal with it. They're immediately there to help.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we're through. We wanted to do a short episode, but we try to do it every time, and
I guess it's one of the shorter ones, maybe.
we get super excited about this stuff. I love it. Yeah,
it's part of our identity.
exactly.
To be a bit controversial.
Exactly. But I really enjoyed this topic. I hope people enjoyed it too. It certainly touches home, right? I hope people enjoyed it, actually.
I hope so. Maybe we see a lot of outrageous stuff now on Facebook.
Let's see.
That would be a nice result.
All right. So thank you for listening. Which episode is this already?
It's number 8.
Nice.
Yeah. Next week we have to actually recap our January expectations, I believe.
True.
We shall not forget.
Exactly. If you don't follow us on social media, we have accounts on Twitter and Instagram. We have some dope memes on our Instagram account, so search for us, Marketing Rockers. We will be waiting for you there. If not, we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening.
Bye-bye, guys.